Hello, everyone. It's Umber Rays here after a very long hiatus. Yeah, I've been gone for a while. Partially just because around Christmas, around the end of 2019, I was feeling a little burnt out on making videos. It's not that I don't necessarily not like making videos anymore, but kind of needed to take just a break and away from it. I was just doing some streaming, and even streaming I took a little bit of a break from, just because after doing so many videos and whatnot, and kind of figuring out, what games I wanted to play and all that, it's been a little difficult. Recently, I've quit playing Epic 7. I've started playing Brave Exvius, kind of again, not just the Japanese side. Don't ask if I'm playing global. I'm not playing global. Anyway. So yeah, I've been taking a break much and away from that, but I have still been playing War of the Visions. I have still been enjoying it, but that is the thing I'm here to talk about today as I slowly, I guess, ease back into making videos. And yeah, guess we'll see. But let's talk about the raid, because the raid was part of War of the Visions when it first came out. It was a big feature that was supposed to be something that was supposed to be a lot of fun and all of this, and it was a disaster when it came out during the Final Fantasy XIV event. And for anybody who wants to talk about problems and problems still with War of the Visions, that is another video I want to make. Let's just focus on the raid for now. And the raid came back, and it is far from without problems. However, it should be noted that they've fixed a lot of connection issues. And I'm not talking about emulators, but I am talking about phones. The laggy menus and whatnot have been greatly improved from my experience during the during this brand new raid. So what was this raid? Well, it was the Valentine's Day raid. It was kind of surprising. Around Valentine's Day, there was no units. Just got a message. But anyway, Valentine's Day raid, there were no units. There were a couple of cards, but this was the kind of the big thing. And the things you could get from it were, of course, the ever valuable rainbow rocks. You could get UR orbs, and you could also craft a special ring that is pretty good overall. It's a UR quality ring, so it's better than some of the other equipment. And there were other things that you could get from this raid that were also pretty nice. So overall, the raid was improved in a couple of different ways. One thing, the connection issues were fixed, the menus were fixed. There were more options to how you set up a raid room. You could set it up for just your friends, or just your guild mates, or just randos, or any and all of the above. But it was a nice feature to be added. Now, the other thing is, obviously, I think that the shop was a good addition to be added to it. And another big issue that was originally with raids was how much energy you had to spend in-game just to be able to get them to pop up. It used to, back during the FF14, it took upwards of some people 300 energy at time, and now the rough average, I would say, was probably about 60-ish energy from my personal experience. I didn't play the raid I'm trying to say I just didn't play it that much, and I was trying to... Anyway, I didn't play it overly too much because I did not really enjoy it, but let's just talk about positives. So yeah, the raid, the energy cost to try and get it to show up was much better, and while there were complaints on the first day of trying to get into rooms, what I found is that there were enough rooms circulating around on any subsequent day where I was able to spend my orbs pretty easy, and most of the rooms were set up for auto, and even then a lot of them weren't that difficult, so it wasn't a really big problem. Raid orbs regenerate pretty quickly, and if you were just spending in game, you could get a few of your own. I actually found, and this is something really interesting and could be in a tips and tricks, but I'm going to say it right here, I found from my own personal experience that it was way better to get into other people's raids, because I didn't have to worry so much about spending my own energy, and depending on what their level was, I was able to, you know, get enough currency for my own goals and whatnot. And I didn't play the raid a especially high amount. I actually played like maybe only 5 or 6 a day, again in the complaint segment. But yeah, I didn't find it as bad as some people said. It wasn't. Now let's just change gears and talk about the complaints. First of all, this was a pretty uninteresting raid for a lot of people because, as it turns out, the Flan was resistant to a lot of people's top tier units. I mean, yeah, Orlandus, Christmas Ramadas, Ramsas, like they could do pretty good damage, but this was a raid made for magic users, and other than Medenia, Ayaka, and yes, I am talking about the Brave Exvius ones, and Y'shtola, there wasn't a ton of great choices for people to bring into this raid. Also, it was an aquatic type creature, which, okay, but they're like, in terms of what has aquatic killer, there's Ramuh, which you have to get from rare gacha and isn't the easiest thing because it is an ultra rare, which means it's basically a rainbow kind of thing. So that is a little more difficult to get. Another card with the aquatic killer was the Christmas card, and I'll just show that, or New Year's card, sorry. That one had aquatic killer too, and it just made for this one right here, which is a beautiful art print, I'll just say. But anyway, it wasn't exactly the easiest raid for most people to get into. It was counter to some people's elements. It was counter to a lot of damage types, and it made the raid a little more difficult. And it also made people incredibly snobby about who they would let in, especially at higher amounts of damage. Yes, the raids get more difficult at higher amounts of damage, but unless you were like super trying to grind out everything from this event, which would attune a lot to just burning out really quickly, feels really bad. Like, the community was not particularly fun to be around on this raid, where you would get, if there were like very specific characters that people would let into their rooms, or they would just cancel the room out, and that feels pretty horrible. And that is not what you want, the feeling of your first raid, since it was essentially canceled to be retooled. Now, for what a lot of people said, so yeah, let me just get into these complaints really quickly, because I don't want this to be an incredibly long video. One, the currency wasn't particularly fast to be doled out. There were raid ranking rewards at the end of it that did give you a little bit more, but unless you were playing it a super high amount, you didn't get overly great rewards. In general, the idea is that as the level of the creature goes up, there would be more rewards, but it never felt worth it. Like, the amount that you could spend trying to just go up on getting that Flan's level up just never seemed to make that big of a difference. It was a pretty big, massive grind. Some people did make the grind, but for most people, it was pretty disheartening. And to just go back to that point I was talking about before, this was not the raid that should have been the first raid. It should have been something maybe a little bit easier, something a little bit more fun, something with a little bit more variety, in some way, shape, or form, to just kind of give people a good feeling after this thing's been retooled for so long. Not something that felt discouraging to a lot of people's units. Like, literally, it should have been a creature with should have been maybe more of a human-based creature. Like, I know that they were developing this stuff probably beforehand, but at least no elemental resistances or anything like that. They should have done something to make it more accessible and, you know, just a little better, since it was still so grindy. That's the second thing. They just need to improve the grind. The currency rewards in this game still don't feel good enough for what you are doing, for how much you need to just work at it, and it just feels way too slow. I know that these are supposed to last for multiple days, but the problem is when it feels like it lasts for too long, that can just feel bad. And the other thing is that the raid orbs, you know, they refill pretty quickly, which you're just constantly going to be in there, constantly dealing with it. It might have just been better to double the currency half the raid stamina recovery and kind of make it less grindy. There's other grind to do in this game, so I really don't think that we need grind on top of grind on top of grind just for that, especially when the grind at this point was feeling a little disheartening for other reasons. And yeah, I mean, there were issues with potentially trying to find a room. Obviously, the rooms don't update fast enough to tell you when a raid is actually full versus when it is not full. But yeah, in general, my experience from this, like, here is a look at kind of what the currency is as you go up. Like, as you can see, even level 141 to level 150 just isn't that good on solo when you're just doing it by yourself, and really doesn't get that much better when you're doing it as a quartet or a duo. It just never feels that good. So yeah, the currency is just one of the big problems. And here were some of the rewards for whoever was insane enough to do that would get like 30,000 currency, 15 hammers, which the hammers are nice, I'll give them that, and 3,000 lapis. It's a pretty big bonus. It's I mean, if you consider what you get in some other raid, I don't know. At this point, like, my general feelings about the raid is it's nice that it's back. It is a second type of event, but the grind is still way far and away, way too much. It feels whatever they were thinking about having this event. It's cool that it is Valentine's themed and everything, and a Choco flan is really cute, even though it's brown and it's a flan, so it looks like it's made out of poop. But I guess that could be a complaint. But in general, yeah, this raid was not the raid that needed to be the first raid back after people were incredibly frustrated with the first one, and it's been gone for months, and we've been wondering, you know, why events are kind of slowly still rolling out and whatever. Like, people have gotten bored with this game, and again, topic for another video and whatnot. But yeah, if you were wondering about what the raid system is currently like, I would still deem it as very much not good enough. It needs to get better rewards. Like, even the shop, for example, could use a few more different types of things. And this is one thing that I am still not happy about that they have not added into this game and kind of disappeared after the FF14 event, is tickets. I get it. We get a lot of free lapis in this game, but free lapis is pretty limited in what you can do with it for a lot of the stuff you can purchase. It would just be nice to have just summon tickets in this game. Not necessarily a terrible high amount, but even 5 per event would probably go a long way to alleviate people's issues, as, you know, events are very tied to specific characters at this point. And yeah, resources are just kind of thin, which makes it really hard to invest in characters, which makes it really hard to get there, and people are already being snobby about who they let into their match rooms. So yes, the raid is still a big thing in this game. If it's going to be a future or a constant recurring thing, which that is what they want to do, it really needs to still be retooled to be just friendlier to free-to-players, have better rewards, have just a overall better experience. Because right now, just like the way the chocolate flan looks, this raid was pretty poopy. So anyway, big thumbs down. I hope to make some more Brave Exvius JP videos and War of the Visions videos in the near future, but still trying to get used to the idea of doing videos again. Oh my god. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.